Fantastic. Let's do this. I'm going to talk to you tonight about taxonomy, biodiversity, and carnivory. This is Darwin. It's not Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses. He's a very glum man, but it's his birthday on Saturday. He'll be 202 years old. I'm going to throw him a party, more of a feast at my house. This is he was a big eater, Darwin. He used to log everything, not just that he saw, but also that he ate. This isn't his lunchbox. He's more of a Thundercats kind of guy. Yeah. But basically, I'm going to talk about animals and the classification thereof. Less of the sort of fungi and the plants and bacteria and all that sort of stuff. I call it the garnish, really, rather than the animals. So basically, Darwin went off on the Beagle in 1831, a bit before this wonderful boat that we're in now, or ship, even. Was built. He travelled the world and he catalogued all these animals, and he was very keen to log down the things that he'd eaten. And he said at one point, it's really sad that they've got nothing to eat. All they've got is ostrich, deer and armadillo, which to me seems like a hell of a meal. We know that armadillo is smooth on the inside and crunchy on the outside, and is probably really quite delicious. We used to be really diverse in what we ate. We used to eat all sorts of stuff. The Joy of Cooking was published in 1931 and had all sorts of meats in there that we don't eat so much anymore. Some of the things that are in there are a little bit dodgy. First up, you've got some bear. They have unweaned piglets. And they've got sea turtles, which are now a little bit endangered, and people frown upon eating endangered things a little bit, quite rightly. So basically, we eat too much of these four things that you know, meat stuffs: your chicken, your cow, your sheep, your lamb. 90-odd% of the meat that we eat is those, and 2/3 of all the farmland in the world is all growing that stuff. Now, meat-wise, we stick to all the vertebrates. We stick to mammals, birds, amphibians, and fish, and that just seems a little bit boring to me. What I'm trying to get people to do is eat a few more invertebrates, things without backbones. We've eaten these; they're all a bit dead and boring. Invertebrates are greener. There are less emissions when they grow. They need less space. They need less water, and we've got shortages of all of those things. So I think if we all ate a few more invertebrates, we'd be going pretty well. This is Google yesterday, just to show we're open-minded about what we're eating. I just typed in "what does human," and 2 of the top 5 things are "what does human taste like," "what does human meat taste like." A little bit alarming. I mean, most things taste like chicken, almost dull. Some of the things that taste like chicken should be really exciting. Snake, frog, iguana, kangaroo, all apparently taste like chicken. There's a very mundane and boring reason for this, that we all we all came from a common ancestor which was pretty chickeny tasting. Some things have obviously diverged from this. Your hooved mammals, your ungulates, they went off onto a sort of beefy type flavour. Now, one of the odd things about people eating invertebrates especially is that people eat one thing that they think is perfectly acceptable and normal, but something that fulfills a very similar niche, has a very similar body, they find quite unacceptable. One of the main things is people eat things that are in the sea, but they wouldn't eat a very similar thing. They eat squid, but they wouldn't think of eating snails, or certainly not think of eating slugs. Anyone here eating slug? Probably best that you don't. So prawns. I mean, pretty much everyone eats prawns. They're fantastic. They're everywhere you look. Not literally, obviously. That'd be... Something's gone very wrong. If you can only see prawns, I can't imagine that scenario. But basically, they're almost the same in terms of what they eat, in terms of their exoskeleton and everything about them, as these things. But no one would dream here of grabbing one of those. They'd probably aim for the garnish and say they weren't very hungry. One of the key things, just to let you know, is that you shouldn't eat anything that's biologically quite similar to yourself, especially when it comes to brains. The closer you are to an animal, the more likely there are to be to transferable diseases, and brains especially. A lot of cannibals suffer from Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease type things. Now, I'd just basically like to summarise to say you should eat more things that are peculiar. We've eaten all of these. You get 50 points if you eat an invertebrate, but do make sure you eat your 5 a day. On Saturday, I've packed my Percy Pig lunchbox. I've got some kangaroo, I've got some ants, I've got some alligator, It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I urge you all to just think about what you eat and try something a little bit different. Thank you very much. Good night.